Good evening. Welcome to Pork Chop Time. We're only going to have one each because they're quite big, so these can be tomorrow's. Potato and beans. Well, mashed potato, pork chop. Gotta have that. Pork chop. What's it like on the other side? Golden. This is pork chop on the bone. Gives more flavour. G'day, biker. Oh, it's going to be yum. For sure. Just boiling some potatoes. I've got some green beans. Simple dinner tonight. A bit later than normal, but that's okay. Missed any of the chat, I apologise. Because I'm cooking, not really looking. No, we're good. 10 minutes away. Yeah, we're good, mate. Yeah. We're in a little place over there. Down a little bit. Don't want to burn them. Yeah, see if I can find my own channel and then I'll be able to read your text. Right, I've got you now. So we are doing a little bit of potato, which will be mashed, and some green beans. Nothing special, but it will be yum. Ready for your South African jerky. Sounds good, mate. You have to do a video. I've made jerky in the past. I've stripped it, put it in the smoker. I'll have lemon and just dried it for about 2 months. It's a bit of an art form. Sometimes you can make it too hard. Yes, we're having vegetables as well, dear mate. Baked porridge, yeah. Sounds good, mate. I'll just show D-Mac how the garden's been going. Plenty of tomatoes now, my goodness. So I've been making chili sauces, relishes, piccalilli, which is good, because I know what went into it. No chemicals, no crap. Not too far away. We've been flat out. We've got loads of family coming, got all the kids, grandkids, some on different days. It's good. Something about pork chops. I know Z-Mac wouldn't eat them, but particularly if you cook them on the bone, and a bit of olive oil and butter, they're really good. Of course, they weren't that big. They're only about that big, but I bashed them out. These are pretty close. Test your pork chop by going to the thickest spot, pricking it, and if the juices come out clear, it's cooked. Potatoes probably 4 or 5 minutes away. Beans are just about done. Get these off. Good for 5 minutes. Let your meat rest. Take that away now. I shall bring this bug over this side. even though it's not that exciting. Something to watch. These pretty damn close. Another couple of minutes for those. So I guess all you guys are getting ready for Chrissy. Oh look, boiling potatoes. The excitement just grows. Let's check. Come here, little bugger. No, not quite. Not too far away. But the beans are good. I'm going to turn them off, put some butter in them now. And our buttered beans. Right, butter. Some people don't eat butter. Margarine, which I can't eat. This is synthetic. Eat unsalted butter. All I do with the beans, stir that butter around in them. You can actually cook them just in butter, so they get a bit too over buttered. Right, put the lid back on, because still check, let's find a big spud. That many big spuds in here. Let's check the, it's getting close. Wave along. And we'll be there. Quick drink of orange juice. Oops. I nearly dropped that. I'm sure I'm boring everybody. That's okay. Not long now. I should give you a little look at the Christmas area, because I'm going to bring the dinner over there shortly. So just to amuse yourselves for a little while, I shall put it down a bit. Lean it back a bit. There you go. Come sit at our Christmas table.
It's bright in here.
Yeah, because if I have the light off, you won't see anything.
Pretty.
You get that?
I know, but look, I'm a gremlin. I don't like bright light.
Well, I'll turn it all on.
Pretty.
Yeah, that's what I put it there. Show us the tree, please. We're making us you to show her the tree, please.
Okay. All right. I was just, give me 1 sec, Mac. I'm just going to light the candles. I'm a bit late tonight. I usually have everything lit. I don't know if I'm actually in camera here. I was coming.
It was a good I shall mash. Just doing mash. I'll be with you shortly.
Okay, ice here. I use there. Hello, anyone there? I love my nutcrackers. Hello. I still haven't got a tree topper.
Bike is it? Not sure.
See, I got nutcrackers everywhere, and look, that's chocolates. When the kids found out I put chocolates on the tree, they went, oh my God. The Santa in the rocking chair, where are we? Hang on, do you mean this one? Yeah, I love my birds too. This bird here, this one, is from my mum. She brought that back from Germany many, many moons ago. I've known that bird since I was a little girl. And that's my puppy's name. Oh, he was further down. Okay, I have got that nutcracker. He was further down. Santa in a rocking chair. There's that Santa, and I've got that sleigh. And I got the drum, and I got that train. Oh, I got it. Yes. Yeah, that one is cute, isn't it? I found it. The candles make that turn. I'll go around this way. I'll show you the front tree. This is the tree that's in the new part of the house. My favourite ornament from my ma is a ceramic. Yeah, that's my favourite, is that bird, because we're talking, man, I'm 58 and I remember that as far back as age 2 or 3. So no one puts that on the tree except me. I don't know if it's too dark. I'll just show you first before I turn the big lights on. This is the old part of the house. I might just have to put a little light on. But I'll turn it down so you get the nice effect. I'm not one for bright lights. Like, Sude's got it lit up there, out there like a Christmas tree. That's funny. You can see next door's lights flashing out there. So I'll pull that blind up and then people can see this one from the road. And yes, there's prezzies under here too. Oh. Yeah, me too. I haven't got enough up this year, but that, oh look, I think that's a present there for seeds. Wow. Now this tree is 20 years old or older. And this lametta, which is all joined up the top under the angel. This one too is from my mum from Germany. The girls want some because it's like 5 foot long, the lametta, because the tree's 6 foot. So it just does this tree really good. But I just haven't been able to get the same stuff for my girls because they always want it. So that's all joined under there. And then you just spread it out around the tree. Yeah. So that's the front room. Yeah, so one of the grandchildren knows I have hanging chocolate on the tree, so of course.
One last one.
Yeah. Another quick look before we eat. And see, on this tree, I've got lametta that you throw on. Which, yeah, it's a pain. You brush past it, falls off, but you just put it back and I don't care.
Right, I don't know how we'll do this, but
Oh, I don't want to be in it while I eat.
I'll put you out, put your food in. How's that? Pork chop, beans, mashed potato. Looking forward to this. Chili sauce for me. Wife will have barbecue. She'll need salt. I will need pepper. Switch barbecue.
Yeah.
Salt.
Yep. Can you see the...
You can't see you. You can see
No,
the
I was
pepper.
looking if they...
Yeah, a little bit.
I should have put these on.
Right. We've got elf. We got. Bye there, mate. Have a good day.
Honey?
No, I just put butter on.
Late for us to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of them dishes.
The next 7 to 10 days will all around about 100 degrees. Not what used to that. So she stores the front Christmas tree.
Yeah.
I didn't cook 2 each. Nothing would have been.
Just can't chew that. Take that off of here.
Loud heaters anyway. Everyone must have gone. Not much time to be online with all the kids. Still not been matched with phone.
You can just see the edge of this going round, is it?
Put this here so you can see. family anyway, but more so as the next week when it comes in.
It's like for Tony to bring on.
Yeah. Maybe he's got a day off, maybe he's on holiday. Pork chop, Tony, mashed potato, and beans. You skipped dinner. That's no good. Well, this is our first meal of the day. Generally just have one meal. It's been warm here, mate. Every day's been about 100. Next week's going to be 100 every day. You can eat your bone in the chop,
I don't know.
because if you don't, I can volunteer.
No, you usually don't. I'll probably do it for you. Not usually.
Oh, that's no good, mate. One of our grandkids at the moment's got a boil on his bum. So, poor little bugger. Yeah, I heard about it all right. We used to live out Richmond, didn't take much to flood, did it? That's why they built the new bridge. 8 metre, wow. Well, I suggest you don't need any more rain, because the problem if you get rain and a flood, if it keeps raining, it's a pain in the ass. Amazing, isn't it, Australia? This time last year was burnt to the ground, followed by the pandemic, followed by flooding. We get it all. Well, if your kids settle down, you'll be able to get a bite to eat a bit later, won't you, mate?
What time is it then?
I'm guessing it's about 11:30, isn't it? Mind you, there is no time if you've got a crook kid. My daughter had a doctor visitor at midnight last night. We can't help but worry all the time with our kids. That's just the nature of it. She says 11:27. Now this is the best part of the pork crumb chop. You see it? It's on the bone. It's all mine, if I'm smart. Yeah, we did. It's your late, Patty. Crumb pork chops with the bone in. Yeah. We're going to have 2 each, but our eyes were bigger than our bellies, so we only cooked out 1 each. That's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
We won't be on much, so that's why we're popping up on this odd hangout, because Christmas, kids, grandkids, people like a hotel here, should be. bone. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah, hope your kid comes good, mate. Get some rest. Yeah, we've just been real busy. Patty, we've got kids coming and going. And come the end of this week, it's full on. Yes, I'm sure she will, mate. Man, that's good. The meat on the bone. What have you been up to, Patty? Up to your plate. Just leave that can with the oil in it and I'll fix that up later.
Jar will have to go into a couple of plastic bags.
I shall take them all outside. Leave that, I'll help you later.
Huh?
You can leave it and I'll help you later if you like.
I'm just going to wash up now. I hate those dishes.
Okay. Right, I'm taking the camera out of the stand, so you're going to get all wobbly for a second. Apologies for that. Now, I think we're good. Just give me a couple of seconds, tidy everything up.
Man, I got started again.
What? I'll do it. Turn this light up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got really dark. Don't panic. Man, we get some tomatoes now. Tons of them, which is good. Where's all your peeps this morning? I don't know. We haven't been on for ages. I expect they've abandoned us, which is okay. It's all good. Like I say, it's a busy time of the year for everybody. We get private messages from people saying, how you going? But we have been real busy. The temp here has cooled down nicely to about 26 degrees cent. What is it? I don't know. 80. It's 100 every day here now. But that's the nature of our summer. I'll have a quick look. I'm pretty sure it's going to be... What's tomorrow going to be? Ooh, not too bad. 33. Here's the next 10 days. 33, 34, 34, 34, 37, 38, 39, 35. Yeah, about 100 every day. That's okay. I imagine you're getting bitterly cold there now, Penny. Yeah, It's about the same temperature, but in different readings. Yours is in Fahrenheit and ours is in Celsius. You must have caught the edge of that storm. No storm? You're lucky. Just went to the east of you, I think. Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New York, upper state. I imagine they're all copping it. It's not even really winter yet. Winter in the US normally is January, February. Nasty. Yeah, been getting heaps of produce out the garden. We don't have a lot of garden. It's all pots and raised garden bed, but tons of tomatoes, chilies. I've got a heap of chilies. I made some chili sauce, or chili and tomato sauce last week, because I hate wasting produce. I've got some extra jars. I'll either make more chili sauce, or I might make another chutney. If I can't eat it now, I will eat it later. But we get two seasons. I planted September tomatoes, and around about the end of this month, end of December here where I live, our first season is just about done. So I've already propagated and I've already planted two types of different tomatoes. I tend to go for smaller tomatoes from December through till March, because as it gets cooler, the little tomatoes don't suffer in the cold, they keep growing. I actually had a plant last year out the front that we totally ignored, that we poked our head around the corner before the paving went down and had tomatoes in the middle of winter. Yeah, I imagine you probably could have problems with flood without having the effect of the storm directly on you. The Ohio River, full of Pennsylvania water. So, something we don't have an abundance of here is water. Mind you, where Tony lives on the east coast of Australia, they've had floods. They've had like a 100-year storm from basically middle of Queensland all the way down to northern New South Wales. Just been masses of storms. Beaches totally eroded away. Yeah, with your river cabin, that must be nearly impossible to insure, I guess. The simple fact it's a river cabin. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you can get insurance, but they usually work on highest level of a river over 100 years. If you happen to build below that level, in my country, you don't get insurance. Or you can't get insurance, I should say. Man, that ground pork chop was delicious. And I made a piccalilli. That was nice. I had to buy cauliflower. Too hard to grow cauliflower this time of year. It's about 1,000 a year. So you can insure it, which is the main thing. Here they wouldn't let you. We have a 100-year level. In other words, a 100-year flood could be 10 metres above a riverbank. If you built within that or below that, they go no. Or if they did insure you, it'd be astronomical. Be nice to have a little cabin on the river. That a good spot that you go to at the end of winter? Is that the mate? You wouldn't. I don't imagine you spend a lot of time there in winter. Maybe you do. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, these floods in eastern Australia at the moment, there's plenty of people with mud going through their house. It's the worst. You know, if you've got a brick house or even just a normal A-frame house, it's the mud just destroys everything. A bit like you now with the rains in Pennsylvania heading your way. You didn't have a lot of the rain. We get stories in our country where people don't get rain, but 100 mile up the road there's been a massive storm and we've lost whole towns because our riverbeds end up being like a V shape because they're quite narrow because they don't get a lot of rain. When they do get a lot of rain, it's like a tidal wave. A lot of tragedy in Australia from people living in a dry as a bone town, then washed away. It's at your back door. I'm pretty sure you'll be gone before that. Rivers can rise extraordinarily fast. You can talk about hurricanes, cyclones, earthquakes, tornadoes. The biggest killer on this planet is water. Floods take more people than everything else. Tsunami, just deluge of floods. There's not much solution to silt and mud. It's just, it gets into everything. It's like, what do you do? Well, you can repaint. Yeah, that's the problem. What happens in a lot of Australian rivers is that they burst their banks and they go hundreds of miles everywhere. And then eventually the water starts heading back to the river, which means it's a month before the river goes down. You can't even get into your damaged properties because it's just completely water. When it overflows, it goes into the bush. When it stops and it starts going down, it starts creeping back into the river. But I think the US is in for a cold winter for sure. We're in for another hot summer. We got away with it up until now. Been remarkably cool. But that's changed very quickly. Wife is doing a rubbish run. Got quite a few, I think you call them squash, butternut squash, we call them butternut pumpkins. Already had a couple, they're beautiful. I've got about another 7 or 8 I've got to take off the bush. Like I say, we get very fortunate from now, it gets hot. You can still grow lots of things between now and, well, in reality till May, but and then you can keep growing. There's not a not growing season here. I'm going to try and harden up the chilies and the some of the tomato like cherry bushes so I can have them go perennial. Nothing better than having a plant that you can just keep growing each year from. If you get frost, you can't do it. We really don't get that cold. It gets down to about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, so not freezing. If you pruned everything back, you can sort of get through that period. But I grow my hot chilies from this time of the year forward. Like I've got some habanero, bajolka, Carolina Reaper. All those will be going in now, or in about a week, and they'll be good at the end of summer for making, well, chili sauce, really hot, but also my garlic and chili spray for the garden. Yeah, I've seen some massive damage done by rivers in this country. Jeez. The Fortescue up north in my state, I'm not kidding you, can rise 15 to 20 feet per hour. I had a lot of onions. I cut them up, blanched them and freeze them, Patty. Been using them. But see, I don't have a lot of space. So things like growing potatoes, if I ever did that, I'd just get some big buckets and grow them in buckets. But potatoes in my state are nearly free. So it's like, why would I grow something with a limited resource when I can grow something that costs a lot of money, like chilies? Tomatoes here in the middle of summer, $17, $18 a kilo. What's that in pound? Don't know. About $8, $9 a pound sometimes. That's why I like growing all my tomatoes for 6 months, and then what I don't eat, I'll preserve. Garlic can be $45, $50 a kilo. Yeah, that's a normal price, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the things that cost a lot are good to grow, but also growing things like butternut pumpkins or squash, as you call them, they last forever. You cut them when the stem's dying and the skin's nice and hard and golden. You can cut it and put it in a dark cupboard, forget about it for 6 months. Great resource, butternut squash in the US. I imagine loads of people do that. See, we tend to grow, onions are so cheap. I'm trying to work out what 10 kilo, 25 pound bag of onions. In American money is about $6. And potatoes are about the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
Potatoes and onions are really, really cheap. Carrots are just incredibly cheap. They're about, normally, 1.5 kilo, what's that? £2, about 90 US cents for 2 pound of carrots. Yeah, the thing about, and you know the difference, Patty, growing your own tomatoes, they just taste just totally different. I don't do a video of me going down the back with a nice sharp knife and salt and pepper, but I can sit down there in a chair and chomp on 2 or 3 nice big brandy ones or whatever I've got going. It's a real pleasure. And then if you go back to the supermarket and buy a tomato, they're rock hard. They've been gassed and kept in storage for months. And that's not the way you should eat tomatoes. My daughter did okay this year, but she's got a fence where she lives where it's all ColourBond or steel all the way around. About a 2-inch gap underneath. Don't know why they didn't do that. You can stick a plinth in there and seal it off completely, but that's what they did. So she's having heaps of snails and mice eating a lot of her crop, so she's a bit disappointed. But she's got a few raised garden beds, and they're going okay. But I said to her, it's a learning curve. She's not been doing it for long. Yeah, the one thing you haven't heard, and it's happened here, is the price of consumable food has gone up. We know. It's probably since the beginning of January, or this time last year, it's up at least 10 or 15%. But no one talks about that. Lots of people don't get wage rises, but the price of food goes up. And a lot of people in the US, they don't have a job. They can't go to work. I don't know how they're surviving. I know there's plenty of people, and good on the people that organise the food pantries, because I think America would be in deep trouble if it wasn't for the generosity of some millionaires that have been given money and just good-hearted people and companies. It's, you know, it's akin to what happened in the 30s, where people had nothing and people would provide, and they used to call them soup kitchens, but there were also food pantries in the 30s where you give a loaf of bread, some milk, maybe some potatoes. So it wasn't all just soup kitchens. So we're seeing that now. I read somewhere that 80 million Americans, which is a lot of Americans, are in dire strife even to buy food. And we're very grateful this year. Like, we get to have all our family. We don't have any restrictions at all where we are. There's nothing. So we get to see all of our family over Christmas. And I feel very sorry, but would encourage people in the US just to bite your lip and not to get together. Staggering figures this morning I read when I got up. 3,400 Americans died overnight in 24 hours. They are staggering figures. Geez, that's just so wrong, Patty. Patty was just saying, remember she, with that job, and she filed for unemployment in July. And she still hasn't been paid. That's 6 months ago. That's just ridiculous. How they expect people to survive? You've probably got a bit of resource behind you, but there's plenty of people that don't have anything behind them. I mean, like I say, we're not special people in Australia, but we certainly, every state and federal government in Australia put the scientist in charge. If the scientist said, nope, we're locking down, that's what we did. Nope, can't go there, locking down. Yep. No one bucked the system. We're supposed to have had this huge protest about masks, and there was going to be 10,000 people. Well, there are 11 people that turned up and they've all got arrested. If you don't take things seriously when something like this happens, you can't see it. So I get where people say, oh, it's not real. But it's very real. And I err on the side of caution. Your liberties aren't removed if you have to wear a mask. I mean, doctors and dentists and vets wear a mask all the time. If it's a smoke haze in any state in the US, people will wear masks. But when someone says, you know, we've got this virulent disease killing thousands of Americans every day, you need to wear a mask, you go, nope, it's going to impede my liberty. I'm thinking, you're just stupid. Hello, Jojo. Let me phone every other week. But I never, so that's ridiculous. Geez, you must have a big check coming. 2 parts of the brain, left and right. On the left side, there's nothing. On the right side, there's nothing left. That's true. Hope you're doing well, Jojo. We've got loads of family coming over the next 10 to 20 days, so we won't be on a lot, so we thought we'd pop on tonight. But not many people are here because I guess they're busy too. It's just, with your unemployment, it's just like these so-called relief checks that's supposed to be going out months ago. Didn't happen. It looks like the president that's leaving the office is doing as much as he can to disrupt the country. Even to the extent I read yesterday that he's pushing through the death penalty on certain prisoners. which is never usually done during a lame duck. Hello, Danny G. Seen some funny games this week. Apparently, Danny, your state's going to secede. It's not going to happen. Crazy world. We just had pork chops for dinner, Danny. Crumbed pork chops. They were delicious. The wife is here. She's just keeping very quiet. She's trying to kill flies. What is it, about 9 o'clock, and it's about 85 degrees here. A lot cooler than it was during the day. Yeah, pork chop and applesauce, that works. You got him? No?
I think so.
She's fly
Hey,
hunting.
Danny.
Do you get time off over the holidays, Danny, or is that just not happening? You work Christmas Eve day, and then the day after. I always cop that. No time off. Of all the years I spent in the prison service, I worked every Christmas. It's usually a fairly volatile time within the system because of people not being able to catch up with other people. We could, on occasions, I snabbled what we call half shifts, where I would work the half shift and another guy would finish my shift. So otherwise, I'd do 6 hours and he'd do 6, and then I'd return the favour. That way you get to have at least half the day. Some big storms in the northeast of America. Mate, you get sort of indifferent weather, Danny, don't you, this time of year? It could be like, okay, or bloody cold. I've got a friend in Texas for years, and he said you just can't work it out. Make it 3 days of snow, then it all melts. Is it a fly or a bee? What are you chasing?
I don't know.
It's got you worried, I know that much.
It's buzzing a bit loud. Oh, there's little bugs up there.
You've been overwhelmed. Self-employed's out, sick, most of us are working 5 days a week. I just, like I say, I've said this before, it's like the reality of this, a lot of people don't see. That's why I have silly people say silly things like, oh, it's not real. It's very real. But there are heaps of people that are always in the front line. Ambulance drivers, reception, people in different departments of a hospital, cleaners, orderlies, they're all on the front line. Even the garbage men that pick up the rubbish bins are on the front line. They all know it's real. And if people took the time just to contact their local funeral parlour, they'd then realise it's very real. But it seems like the Korean War in the 50s and 60s, where people were over there fighting and everyone's saying, nah, it's not real. It was very real if you were there, and history will show all the people that worked within and around the hospital systems will need to be recognised for what they've done. Yes, she's holding the fly swatter. She's got two of them. Just like 2 6-guns.
Everywhere.
What was it?
That was the bee. I just put him over the side. There's another one up there.
Another bee?
Yeah, I'm just,
Oh well, it's that time of year.
I just moved that one in the garden.
Had this enormous cricket, you reckon it was last night, wasn't it? We've got this
Grasshopper.
grasshopper. We got this big fan with a metal casing around it, and we heard this clunk. I didn't see it at first. It was about 5 inches long. Massive. Christmas here will be about 100 degrees. Mind you, the next 2 weeks are going to be about 100 degrees, which is pretty normal. So went down today and we bought some cooked Italian pork, which is all wrapped up, and it's good for a couple of weeks. And we've also got a nice big ham. And we'll just buy chickens and
So that pork
nibblies.
isn't a one to cook.
No, it's cooked.
Oh.
That's why it costs $35. It's nice. Your father said behind every great man is a big bank account. Well, that's not always. Your father lied to you, Jojo, let's be honest. I've met many great men who had a lot of wealth that lived in a 12 by 8 cell. I know you're joking. What's the story, Jojo? Through the eye of a needle. If you can fit a camel, you can take all your money with you. Yeah, it's one of those weird states, like JD, who we know in Texas for over 10 years. He says you could be driving down the road in parts of Texas, there's 2 feet of snow. And then an hour later it's sunny and dry. Yeah, Daddy just said to Jojo, you're a great man. Now show me the money. May I have a paper, dear? Thank you very much. Yes, so one of our grandsons, Danny's got a boil on his bum. Poor little bugger. There's not much you can do with boils. Off memory, even though, you know, it is what it is. Boils are part of the golden staph family. Like streptococcal and all that. If you ever had a boil, the absolute relief after it bursts, and you clean it up and all the pain goes, that's good. But little baby has a lot of trouble if it has a boil on his bum. I know my mum used to bath the kids in warm salt water, one of the oldest remedies, and use a hot compress to try and make the little bugger burst. So you don't get any Christmas at all. That's no good, Danny. Well, I'm sure you have some sort of festivity at work, be it small. There'll be gifts exchanged at work and some fancy meals brought in to be shared, I guess. Yeah, you can lance it. Ones usually lance are the ones that are deep inside. But if you've got a boil that's coming to the surface, the old salty hot water or warm water and a hot compressor usually brings it out. Even the old method of soap and sugar, like a paste, that used to bring out boils as well. My grandmother used to use that a lot, soap and sugar. I remember her calling it a poultice. If you got a boil under your knee or on the back of your bum, she'd whacked it on, and sure as eggs, she'd open her up. I remember, who was the famous astronomer? I'll think of his name in a sec. He's a bit of a philosopher as well. He used to say things like, hospitals don't save people. The human body is the tool that saves you, or you don't survive. The medications over the last 20th century until now have improved to make that ability even better for the human body. But it's the human body that responds, or not. I've seen that before with an old milk bottle. Do you remember the milk bottles? Oh, you're far too young, Danny. Shouldn't even mention it. You know, the milk bottles that had about a 2-inch lid at the top open on it, and people used to use the trick of sucking and egging, like you were just saying. They were used as well to try and break open a boil. But I'm sure you'll have some joy on the day and amongst all that horror. You've probably seen and done it yourself where you've responded and others around you have responded in a way that you wouldn't have thought was normal. In other words, getting hugs off people that you wouldn't normally get a hug off, and people saying nice things to try and make everyone feel better. Yeah, the old milk bottles used to have, when you had calves, they were used to feed the calves with. You know, not straight out the bottle, but with a big teat on it. I think I said probably 7 or 8 months ago that we will see the worst and the best in people. And we have seen far too much of the worst in people. I mean, one of the things that I boil it down to is people are just so bloody selfish. Plans for Christmas. We've got nearly all the kids and all the grandkids here, Danny, over the next 10 days. So my plans is probably to stand next to the cooker and keep cooking until I drop. But yeah, it'd be fun. We've got a lot of family coming. Because we don't have any restrictions, there's no numbers. You could have 1,000 family members gather here. There's not a problem. But it's like it's still, even in our country, we're still wary. We know this thing's not going anywhere and can pop its ugly head up at any time. And I think because we're overcautious on many occasions, Says you open a restaurant, you'll be on billboards. No, I don't want my name up in lights, Jojo. I enjoy cooking. I really do. I like the process. Yeah, we're going to, because it'll be about 105 on Christmas Day. And our Christmas Day is the 24th. It's a German thing in the family. We will have a lot of stuff prepped already. We'll have maybe hot chickens, but we've got hams and lots of other meats, and you're making spätzle,
Yeah.
gravy, German, and potato salad. So there'll be plenty of food. Traditionally, you'd have a big barbecue as well, but I might do, I don't know, a couple of dozen sausages on the barbie, but being 105 degrees is not that pleasant to be outside. So we'll have the air conditioners cranked up. One of our daughters is coming up tomorrow to go to a hospital here to have an operation on her ankle, ligaments and maybe a bit of bone, so quite a complicated thing. So she's going to spend about 4 or 5 days here after. So she'll be convalescing here. It's something that I've had plenty of injuries over the years, and she just has to get this done. But she'll be bringing 3 of the grandkids up, so they'll need to be fed. I might just build a big trough, just keep pouring food into it. That might be the answer. Yeah, the newest grandbaby's got a boil on his bum, Danny. Poor little bugger. Which is not pleasant. But even amongst the grimaces he shows because of the pain on his bottom, he can still often giggle and laugh. And a lot of my gifts that I give away this time of year is things like the pickles and the chili sauces and the relishes and chutneys I make. Man, we're getting tons of tomatoes. Just tons. And chilies are starting to kick in. I'm even planning to plant my second. We get 2 crops of tomatoes here from September till the end of this month. And then we can go right from the end of this month through to April and still grow plenty of summer crops. No, Jojo, as you're experiencing. Just imagine when you have more children, followed by a dozen grandchildren coming around. Daddy, Granddaddy Jojo. Your standard answer would be, Jojo's not home. Please leave a message. But Granddaddy Jojo, you're standing right in front of me. I'm sorry, I'm a simulant. The real Jojo is not here. Yeah, I've got another heap of butternut squash to take off, but I can store them for months. One of the best, well, we call them butternut pumpkins. It's the best squash pumpkin, whatever you call it, to store. It's got hard skin, put it in a dark cupboard, forget about it. It will just sit there and just get better. I did an experiment once, and I had one for a year. And I thought, I better crack it open. The skin was still hard, opened it up, perfect. And I'm pretty sure in America there's plenty of people that grow lots of squash like that to store over the winter months. It tastes good too, butternut. But all the grief, and you can say it's grief that the kids give you, it gives you a reflection of yourself. You know, when you worry about your kids, you don't sleep about the kids, something's wrong. But there's a whole bunch of good stuff in amongst that as well. Yeah, no, that's obviously a joke, Jojo. I get it. I love the fact how a child brings a couple closer and less argumentative. It's your turn. Get up. Change his bum. Oh, I'm too tired. Get up or I'll kill you. Right, I'll do it now. Life is a journey full of wonderment, and then kids come along and destroy all your dreams and your hopes. I'm just kidding. When you see the look in a newborn child that you've been part of the procreation, you understand the meaning of life. You don't get the full answer, but you understand it. It's one of the best tools to have, Jojo, what you have, and that is humour. Because even some days you're suffering and things are getting you down, but if you can make someone else laugh, even when you feel like that, it's even a bit of a medicine for yourself. Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Jojo. And I truly mean this. There is no off limits to humour, because I'll guarantee you, 100%, that in a hospital when someone's wheeling out someone in normal times, not now, in normal times, and it's an old guy who's passed away, people make jokes. It's because it's their way of dealing with it. Some of the funniest people I knew, I nearly became an undertaker, and that is a true story, and I didn't. But the guys that worked at the funeral parlour were some of the funniest people I've ever met. And I'm thinking, you have to. That's how you've got to deal with it. My jokes are always about me. So you're saying it's like pathos. But like I say, it's like, I remember a friend of mine broke his leg. That's right. And it's a hard thing. I mean, the bone was sticking. It was in a game of soccer. It was a terrible break. And he was in a lot of pain. And we got him in the back of an ambulance and whatever. And then someone just said something funny. Something about, now you can become an actor. He said, what? Because you broke a leg. Well, at the time, it broke the ice because all the pain going on and worry. Even he laughed. It wasn't a funny joke. It was just funny. And it's like, that's what we do. What are you going on about now?
Behind you. Oh, that's huge.
What?
I think it's a beetle. There, what's that? On the roof.
I think it's from another planet. I can't even see the damn thing.
Look up here. Look up above you. Yeah, you're taller.
That's just a beetle. You did stand-up jokes in prison for inmates. See an enemy to become friends. Well, the difference that people don't understand is that people on the outside of prison and the people on the inside of the prison are the same people. It's the offences they've committed that puts them in prison. There's heaps of humour in prison. We don't lose our humanity, you lose your freedom.
Right here.
She's determined to kill every insect in Australia. Now she's doing a touche like D'Artagnan. All for one and one for all. If you just left him alone, he'd probably leave you alone.
Yeah, well, they can leave me alone 'cause I'm going in.
And I'll be out here with all the dangerous Australian creatures
Yeah.
by myself. What am I going to do?
If he lands on you.
Yes, I imagine pretty tough, Jojo. You've always been involved with charity, but when it comes to this side of things, it's one of these times you have to step back for the good of all. I mean, without being derogatory to my American friends, most of the Americans in America have not taken this seriously at all. And it's a terrible thing to watch. 3,400 people yesterday lost their life. It's really unacceptable. I mean, if I was President-elect Joe Biden, the first thing I would do is said, I'm going to give you all $1,000 a month. For 1 month, you are going to stay home. Those that are not needed essential workers, you are all going to stay home. Don't do anything. Don't go anywhere. When the vaccine becomes available, go and get it. Take it seriously. I said that months ago in a video. If the whole world did nothing for a month, we could beat this. And I've got to be honest, it's not just America, but a lot of people around the planet who don't believe in it, won't take the vaccine, won't wear a mask, they will probably die. Just like I say, I don't get angry often, but when I see figures that are not necessary of people dying, you know, there's a culpable negligence in this as well. You know, it will just go away. It will just disappear like magic. That is culpable negligence. And I believe there'll be a reckoning for that. There needs to be one. There's a lot of bitter and angry people out there. Yeah, I think you're pretty good with mail. As if there's just been some weird things happen in the US for the last 2 years that have been unnecessary, mean, nasty, showing a true arrogance of humanity. That has been done by choice that I can't fathom. And there are a lot of things, and I'm not going to get into a political argument with anyone. There's a lot of things that have been done to make lives harder for people. Time will pass, and things will get better, but not as quick as a lot of people think. It's cooling down now. It's gone down to 80 degrees. I'll have to go and put a jumper on. But wherever you are, for this time of the year, if you cannot be with your loved ones, I'm sorry for you for that reason. And if you can't do the things you normally used to do for this time of the year, I'm sorry that's happening to you as well. But the way you can get out of this is to do the things that make life easier for everybody. Stay away from everyone you know. Minimise your movements. Do whatever you have to do, but with caution. All right, Jojo, you have a good day, and I'm going to shoot off now. I'm going to get eaten by all these wild bugs. But for Danny, our good friend, I know you take care and you're cautious. Please continue to do so. And for anyone that watches this video, just remember, it may be hard now and you can't do things you want to do, but go through this process and the reward is going to be there for you. If you're going to be ignorant and ignore the science, be it at your peril. From me and the good wife, if we don't see you from now to Christmas, which is very possible because we've got 4,000 Zulus coming here, have a good holiday in whatever form that takes. Love the people around you and realise that there's a lot of important things in life and they're usually the people that you care about. If you really care about them, don't visit them if this thing's still going on. Till next time, good night.